right, we've got a solid brick in the shape of a cuboid, so that means it's really a rectangular prism. So I'm going to draw a brick. So I got something that looks like this. Go straight. And then I'm going to take that and duplicate it, and then connect it. All right, is 3x by x by y. I'm going to call this one 3x because that's my longest one. I'll call this one x and then this one y. The total surface area is 700. Well, my area of this bottom piece is going to have an area of 3x squared. My area of this side piece is xy. And then my area of this back piece is going to be 3xy. So my total surface area is going to be 2 of the 3x squared plus the xy plus the 3xy. And I know that that's 700. So 6x squared plus 2xy plus 6xy is 700. I want to show that the volume has this formula, so I know volume is going to be 3x times x times y, so 3x times x is 3x squared times y, but this formula has no y's in it. So I must use this formula to figure out the y to put in over here. So this has no y. I'm going to move it to the other side. So I'll have 2xy plus 6xy. Oh, those are like terms. That's 8xy. So let me put that together. So I have 8xy equals 700 minus 6x squared, moving that to the other side. I want y by itself, so I'll divide by 8x. So 700 minus 700 over 8x minus 6x squared over 8x. Now I'm going to simplify. 700 divided by 8 is 87.5 over x. 6 divided by 8, that, oops, is going to be 0.75. And then x squared divided by x leaves an x. So if I come back and look at this, this has 0.5s, so that makes me feel pretty good. This is a fraction, so it seems like I have a mixture of decimals and fractions. Let's see what happens when we take this y and substitute it up here. So now I'm going to have my volume is 3x squared times 87.5 over x minus 0.75. I could have left as a fraction of 6 over 8 or 3 over 4. I see there's a 4 here, so I'm going to go back and write this as 3x over 4. Just remember I had x squared on top, x on the bottom. All right, so now I'm going to multiply this out. 3 times 87.5, 262.5, that's great. X squared divided by x is just x, so perfect. 3x squared times 3x, well, that's 9x cubed, perfect, and over 4. So this is the volume formula that they gave me. So this is all part A. Use calculus to find the minimum value of V. Give your answer to the nearest cubic centimeter. Well, I know that that means that I'm going to take dV dx and set it equal to 0. This derivative, 262.5 minus 3 times 9 is 27 over 4, because that over 4 is there, x squared. Make that equal to 0. This is a polynomial, so I could use polysimult. So apps, polysimult. I want to find roots. I have x squared. So my number in front of x squared is negative 27 over 4. I have no numbers in front of x. There is no x, so that's a 0. And then 262.5. I get 6.24 or negative 6.24. Well, x was part of my cube, so x can't be negative. So hopefully, the one that I pick, I have to pick the positive one. So x equals 6.24 should give me my positive, is my positive, it's the one I have to use, and hopefully it's the maximum. I want to find the maximum value of v, so I'm going to plug in my x into my formula. So I'm plugging into this formula. Okay. So I'm going to hit store because I want to store my coefficients. I don't want to store to a list though. Well, let's see. Store roots. I don't want to store them to a list though. All right, well, let's have 623.6. So main menu, quit. 262.5 times 6.236 minus 9 times 6.236. And that should be cubed. And then divide by 4. I missed the minus sign. Okay, so we get, here's our volume to 3 significant figures. I get 1090 cubic centimeters, but I want to make sure this was the maximum. So I want to make sure that if it's a maximum, then my function should go from increasing to decreasing. So at x equals 6, dv dx is, let's see what happes. So 262.5 minus 27 times 6 squared over 4. I get a positive number. So v is increasing. At x equals 7, hopefully I get a negative number. For my derivative, remember I'm plugging into the derivative to determine increasing, decreasing, and I get a negative. So my function went from increasing to decreasing. So at x equals 6.24, the function has a max because it went from increasing to decreasing.